Hey guys, we're back on schedule. I'm like, got a video uploading now. I mean, it should have went up today, but whoops. Yeah, we getting back on it, back on the grind. So here we are for a chest day. I think I've got a little bit of stretch marks on my back. I'm not too sure. Oh, bro, what do I keep saying? Well, I'm driving into the fog, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's cool for about 10 minutes. Hey, why is my back so itchy? How do you stop saying Oh right. Oh yeah, so you know, today's chest day and I think we're gonna start off some bench press. Hopefully I can bench like 70 again, that'd be nice. Oh, damn, I said it again. So I was kind of thinking, right? Now I wonder how well this will like go down, right? Because realistically, like I feel like a lot of people would just glance over it pretty quickly. So I think there's kind of like a situation in this day and age where everyone's trying to. No, I'm not saying like I don't do it, because the reason I'm talking about this is because I do it. Is trying to parasocially live through someone else, and I find it a lot with Netflix shows and that I try and correlate to the character, or like I try and like adjust how I'm feeling to match the character. But instead of that feeling ending after the show, I go about my day like that. It's kind of strange, and I wonder how much influence it has had over my life, or like generally just like the last year or so. Because I feel like everyone's kind of like it. If you've noticed with Shizzy and that, and I don't think it's like wrong or anything. Other people are uploading these videos where like doing the same kind of like hype stuff he does, whereas like he like bangs his chest and like, you know, does the thumb across the throat kind of thing, or like even with me like doing these type of videos and then being kind of like, you know, Sam Sulek like, and you know it's kind of hard to differentiate between being influenced and trying to like live through someone else's means instead of trying to like, you know, find your own kind of thing. And I feel like while I can try and beat around the bush and like justify that I'm doing this because I like making content and like, you know, the end goal is to try and like teach people and that, right? I think ultimately I need to find a way that I can make these like gym videos and that in a way that I like. Kind of, you know, I feel like it's a pretty mature way of going about it. But I feel like it's definitely just like more of a me thing. I don't know how many people it actually applies to, but I think if you look at it kind of in a simple sense, that people will adjust their behaviours and they're like so for example, if you see on TikTok where there's a thing about, oh, if someone's acting like this, it makes me feel like that, and everyone in the comments like, oh, so relatable and that, it then makes you more inclined to feel that or actively seek out that emotion because you're trying to relate to a TikTok and that. And realistically, you need to just try and strive to be your own person. This is the most clear I've spoke in my entire life. I'm so concise right now. And I'm loaded up and pre too. I'm loaded up, but like I've taken pre. So, you know, caffeine makes you talk faster. So maybe this doesn't make sense. But yeah, I find it with like, I was watching this show, Sex Education, and one of the characters in it, I was saying, got like sad or something. And I sat there, I was like trying to find something that I was like unhappy about. But it's like, chill, you know. It's just a show, and realistically, I need to kind of stop. I know that it's like, I'm a very impressionable person. Like when I see things, I like believe them or try and act in that way. So I feel like right now I'm talking to myself, because that's what I mean. Realistically, that's what you should do if you're trying to make content or do things to target a certain kind of person. Realistically, just talk to the part of you that you want to improve upon. in a way that as if you already know a lot about the subject you're trying to improve on. What is brother rambling about? I'm not too sure. Yeah, and even that, like with comments where, no wait, I'm trying to think. But yeah, I think ultimately, just try and be aware of when you're acting away in your life. What have you seen recently that's kind of encouraged you to make you think like that? Because I feel like a lot of people go on like this whole winter gym arc, and while the winter gym arc is really cool and that, but a lot of people try and do things in an incorrect way. Like they train to make like an ex or something regret it. And don't get me wrong, I've done it, and it's a very good motivator in itself. But fuck, what was my point? Yeah, it's a very good motivator in itself, but do not make it your whole personality, and still remember to grieve it and let go and just come to terms with what's happened in still a normal way. Because if you obsess and your driving motivator stays the same for so long, and especially with something like that, with an ex or something, like you need to, in order for you to actually improve and to heal, you need to let it go and just come to terms with, you know, with the situation and how it's panned out, you know. You know, the best way to just, I don't know. But yeah, that was kind of my little ramble for the day. Probably could have said a lot of that better. But yeah, chest day. Trying to go for some big titty gains, but I've got like pectoral extravagances or something, where like my rib cage is like slightly bent forward, so it kind of, it's hard for me to develop a bigger chest. But like realistically, it's just an excuse. Like I could very easily, you know, get over it if I start training better. Also, Sundays suck. Like, I don't know what it is about Sundays. Everything just feels so like uncomfortable. Like I feel the worst on a Sunday. If I'm not racing, then I just feel really strange. But yeah, like if there's anyone that, like, you know, kind of watches all the way through, just leave a comment, just saying like your perspective on this, or your take on this, or your experiences of this, because I feel like it's a really interesting one, and it's something that I notice, I try and get better on, and I fall back into it again, and it annoys me. Another one is people changing how they act to like fit in with people, or to make someone like them more. At the end of the day, like, it is, I guess, like, I can understand why people obviously do try and change, like fit in and that, and it makes sense, like, but if you just stay better to yourself, and you'll flourish into a person that will be a more rounded person, rather than, like, you don't want to be like half you, but the rest of your personality is made up of other people, which is kind of like how I feel like I am sometimes. You know, be the best version of yourself. Wow, inspiration. Alright, I need to get hyped for gym or something, because this ain't, I've been way too philosophical right now, and I need to be like hyped. Another one is music. Music dictating how you feel. Not like, it's not in a parasocial sense. I mean, obviously, like, music, you're not gonna be like angry and you're gonna listen to happy songs. Like, you want music to like relate to how you feel. But I saw a video on how music is quite bad for you, in the sense that it can dictate and encourage behaviours that you wouldn't typically do, because of how the music is like not portraying, like making you feel in a way, you know. But yeah, alright, that's enough rambling.